Hey, everybody, on this edition of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers, we're going to talk about a teacher that married her substitute. What an amazing cheat code. Then, out of Australia, there's an extortion attempt on a teacher that you're going to have to listen to believe. And then, lastly, we are going to talk about those teachers that want to stay in teaching, that love it, that have a passion for it, and we appreciate you. Stay tuned. Crying in My Car starts now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. My name is Devin Siebold, and I got my good buddy, Mr. James Ian, in the house, and we're here to hopefully make you laugh, ease that stress of teaching. I saw it all week. I was on the road, 6 shows in 5 days, just touring up with Board Teachers Tour. Amazing time. So many Crying in My Car fans, and it was consistently the same thing. I need to laugh. You know, it's crazy. The realness of teaching is there, and we appreciate, obviously, you guys tuning in and having us as be that laughter, and also don't forget to support us in the same way that you could always do, which is giving a thumbs up, rating it 5-star, adding a comment. Maybe you're watching this on YouTube. Even just a quick little heart. It helps the logarithms get this out there. That way more people can laugh with us and have a good time.
There you go.
I enjoyed meeting all the teachers. I don't think I've had maybe like one bad interaction with a teacher. They're all the coolest people. And after the shows, they are smiles ear to ear. One of the biggest comments that I get, compliments that I've ever heard is one of the volunteers when we were wrapping up the show at this big theater. She comes up and she goes, "You don't realize there's nobody that left upset." She said it was honestly like you just pulled an Oprah and gave them all new cars. Like it was because they come out like smiling ear to ear, like, oh my gosh. Finally. And the thing that I always keep seeing is I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel validated, and I can laugh about it. And that's so cool to be able to see that. Now, James, I wanted to share with you something that I saw. I met a lot of cool teachers, a lot of cool people. I met somebody that to me has gamed the game. They are the game master.
Oh, I like this.
The game maker. And I just watched Hunger Games, so that helps. I watched the new Hunger Games on the plane. Pretty good movie.
That's a great movie.
But this one, I met this teacher, and she came up to take a picture, and she goes, "Hi," and I go, I usually go, "Hi, so what do you teach? Tell me about yourself." I don't like just going, take a picture, leave. I like,
get to know them.
Yeah, you guys spent money to come see us. We want to have some interaction. So they come up and I go, hi. So what do you teach? She goes, "Oh, I just teach elementary or middle or something." And she goes, "I've been teaching for 25, 30 years." And I was like, "Man, that's awesome. That's amazing." And then her husband comes over and I go, "Is this your husband?" She goes, Yeah. I said, "Oh, that's really cool." I said, "Are you a teacher too?" And he goes, "Well, I am now." And I said, "Oh, she got you into teaching?" He goes, "Well, actually, I started off as a substitute. In fact, I substitute taught for my wife. That's how we met." And I was like, there it is. With the substitute shortage, all you have to do is find a substitute and marry them.
That's it.
Because I looked at her and I go, "You did it." Like I was Willy Wonka. "You won, Charlie."
Etc.
You did it, my boy. But I looked at her, I go, you figured it out.
Bro.
You had a permanent substitute teacher.
There you go.
You saw him walk into your class and it wasn't even that you were attracted to him. You were like, "I need this man to keep coming.
Forever.
Yes, just keep coming back to my class and filling in." And I thought it was hysterical, and I was joking with them. They were great people. They were laughing the whole time.
Can you imagine the implications this could have in Utah with polygamy?
Oh my
Could you imagine?
So many substitutes. Just a Rolodex of names. I thought to myself, that's so genius. Marry the substitute. They can't say no. You always have somebody to fill for you.
That is genius, by the way.
Just give them
Honey, can I get you anything? You sound bad. Yeah, you can get to
lesson
my
plans.
Yes.
You can get to my class and take roll.
There you
go. But now he's a full-time teacher, so she messed up. You know, you can't get that close.
No, that's the thing. Don't get attached.
Right. But they taught in separate schools, they said, and I was like, that's the way to do it.
Because you can't really work in the same school if you're married, right?
So yes, you can.
Really?
Yep. In fact, the high school that I taught at, we had a lovely young couple that were married, and they met. I think they met there, started dating, got married, and they were known as the couple. You know, like the teacher couple.
So teachers can date?
Teachers can date. Teachers can marry.
I did not know that.
I know 3 couples in just the high school that I was at alone.
Okay.
That I was teaching at.
Gotcha.
And they met there.
I didn't know that if they had rules against you can't.
I think this is just the power play admin over.
You can't do that. Okay, gotcha.
The interesting one, though, that I would wonder is one of them was a educational coach over the other teacher. So I just, power plays. You never know.
Gotcha.
You got to watch those power plays when it comes to dating. HR might call
well,
you.
I can tell you as a man that's been married 30 years, no matter what job I have no power.
None.
I have no power. Yeah.
But so I looked at it and I don't think there's any like issues with that.
No.
Like, I look at it as you have somebody to cover your class.
Yes, you do.
You have a ride to work.
There you go.
You can carpool and stuff. But I also, there could be some problems with that.
Like?
I could see issues when it comes to, so we have a coveted position in the school.
Okay.
And that position is the person that is selected to go to Grad Bash.
Is it just one person?
It is. No, you have a person that is over top of all of Grad Bash. So here's how it would work.
Okay.
Just to give Grad Bash, if you don't know, is the one night where our seniors would go to the theme park.
Yes, they would.
And for a teacher, it is heaven. Because if you get selected as a chaperone, you get a wristband. You get access to all the chaperone lounges, which is unlimited sodas and cookies and whatever you want for free. You get a nighttime breakfast buffet, which was awesome. At like 1 a.m., you're chowing down on breakfast tacos, the best.
Okay.
And you also get access to all the rides. As many times as you want, front of the line.
What?
Yeah, so you could literally ride Velocicoaster 42 times in one night.
Yeah, you could literally throw up 42 times if you wanted.
But what I'm saying is it was so competitive to get that.
Okay.
Our tech guy was the one that organized it all.
Okay.
And what he would do is every year he would send out an email. And that email, when it came through, you had to respond to it right away. And it was, I'm looking for a chaperone. As soon as you saw, I'm looking for a chaperone, you hit reply and you go, me, and enter. Like sometimes I didn't even risk the E. I was like,
He knew. And how many teachers would be selected to go to Grad Bash?
Like 20. And it was,
out of how many teachers?
Like maybe 150.
That's, woo.
It would be filled instantly. Instantly.
So it was literally, and it's funny you mentioned this earlier, it was literally the Hunger Games.
Yes.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yeah. What I'm getting at is if you had any power play in there, as to who got to chaperone what.
Yeah.
Because I did notice that the couples always went every year. And it's like if you want me, you gotta bring her, or kind of things like that.
I can't disagree with that though.
Yeah,
I can't
I'm not
disagree.
gonna lie. There was a power couple in my school. It was me and my boy, Mr. Barber. Shout out to Mr. Barber. Because we were ready for that email.
Were you?
And Mr. Barber, man, I love this guy. He's so cool. I just texted him the other day. And man, he's a Southerner at heart, was football coach and everything and worked in the ISS, that we had.
Yeah.
And me and him were good friends.
Yeah.
And when that email came through, it was he and I just on it. And I would send him a text immediately. I'd respond. I'd be like, me and Barber. And then I'd send him a message and be like, you need to send an email right now. And he would be like, me and Devin.
Yeah.
And so he'd send it over. And true story, we'd get it. And we as soon as we got there, we run to the rides. And we would ride like Hulk like 20
Question.
times.
Where were your children?
I don't know. I
I love how you're like, what? What kids?
we would just roll them over.
You got it.
So,
Yeah.
which, by the way, I would like to say some funny things, some observations about Grad Bash. When you go to Grad Bash, there's lines, okay, for kids, and you have to go through a metal detector and a real security pat down to get into the park.
Yes.
And the chaperone line goes around that through the grass. As you're walking in, you look down and there's knife, weed, needle, and you're like, what? And it's everything the kids didn't had to ditch, and you're like, there's 7 felonies in this one line,
Little space.
I mean, there's so much stuff that they thought they could get in, and I'm like, how did you get that into school?
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we would go, and I want to give a shout out to Barbara because I knew Grad Bash officially began because we would go to Hulk first. We'd sit down on Hulk, and he would always say this, and it was so funny because every year I heard this exact line. Hulk would get up there and get ready to take off, and all of a sudden he'd go, and kick you out, and he'd go, get you some. I don't know why he would always say that, but I was like, we're here. This is it. That was our battle cry.
That is the exact same thing you yell out at a truck rally.
Dude, I loved it, man. Barbara,
right when the monster truck gets on top of the first car, get you some.
Now, we made one terrible mistake one year at Grad Bash, by the way, and he'll recall this distinctly. We, early on, started riding some of the rides. We'd done this so many years in a row.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is an hour into it. 5-hour night, we go, man, we have never rode Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Waterfalls.
Oh, no.
And we're like, we should do that. And I've never ridden it before. He had never ridden it before. And we went in and we're like, there's nobody in line. Like, what is going on? We sit in this little log, me and Barbara, and when I say the water just comes over the side.
Yes, it does.
We left there like we just jumped in a swimming pool. And we had 4 or 5 more hours left to Grad Bash. And I looked at him and I was like, I didn't want to get any of that some. I didn't want to get some of that.
Get you some.
Yeah, didn't want any of that. It was not fun.
It says, and it's funny you got on that ride because I knew exactly where it was going because there are big signs that say, you will get wet. Not you might get wet. There's a small chance you will get wet.
See, but Jurassic Park, you get sprayed in the face.
Yes.
You know, Splash Mountain, you get sprayed in the face.
Yes.
This one, you get dunked.
Soaked.
And it was a terrible idea.
Nothing worse than wet sneaker and wet sock.
Everything. And the underwear, the whole rest of the night.
I'm a larger man. I'm going to chafe.
Yeah. Well, we went into the breakfast buffet and they had the breakfast tacos, and I took the taco and I unraveled it and I took the warm tortilla and I put it down my pants, lined my thighs.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, it was terrible.
God bless. I didn't know they had a buffet for the teacher like that, like breakfast buffet.
They hook it up.
That's not bad.
Yes. And guess who's going to Grad Bash this year?
Me. Because you told me. I volunteered.
It's my number one thing. You don't understand. I literally am a approved volunteer at like 12 schools.
That's so funny.
Because I'm like, I really want to go. And they're like, well, you got to go through. I'm like, just tell me what I got to do. And I fill out the background checks. And
so how do you get on as a volunteer, though?
You are Devin Siebold.
Okay, got it. All right, understood. No, I got no more questions.
Yeah. It's with teachers, you know, and teachers like to laugh and have fun, and I'm there to help you out, and we'll have a good time.
So do parents go as well?
Yeah, parents can go as well.
Oh,
yeah, you got to find a kid. Yeah,
that shouldn't be a problem.
Let's hook you up.
I just go into school. Hey, which one of you wants to be my kid?
I am. That is my dad.
Can you imagine me just rolling up into a school? Which one of you kids wants to call me daddy? Exactly. That
on the nightly news tonight we have a gentleman walking.
Hey man, I asked one question. I got tased.
Yeah, and for some reason, as he was being tased, he said, "Get you some."
I got to meet Barbara now. Yeah. That's just funny.
Yeah, that's cool, man. All right, you want to jump into the teachers of the news?
Absolutely.
All right. Teachers of the news, man, we got some wild stories. Now, some are a great inspirational. I tried to make this one. It was heavy news day.
Okay.
Heavy on the heart, heavy on the eyes.
Yeah.
And so I decided to put in some good ones, some uplifting ones in there as well. We're not going to start off with that, though. In Dania Beach, Florida, there was a woman accused of attacking an elementary school teacher. Yeah, apparently, according to the documents, the attack happened on the campus of Dania Elementary School in Broward County. That is a nice area, by the way.
Yeah, Dania is nice.
And it said, apparently, this parent was livid right off the bat. Apparently, the teacher was assisting with the after-school dismissal, and this teacher just pulled up in her Nissan, got out, and just charged her immediately.
The parent got out.
Yeah, and apparently attacked her and hit her multiple times, hit the teacher on school property. And authorities did research and apparently said that she just left, by the way, right after doing that.
Oh, yeah.
They found out who it was and said that the parent and the teacher have had multiple parent-teacher conferences over the course of this year.
Oh.
And so maybe there was just some apparently disagreement, but I can't imagine just pulling up with the sole purpose. It wasn't even that she got mad during a conference.
No.
And that it escalated or back and forth. She had malicious intent from the get-go.
She planned that. That's the crazy part. As a rational human being and parent, I'm going to go to this school, pick up my child, and I'm going to assault the teacher.
Not only did she plan it, this was an after-school dismissal. She probably sat there for 3 hours. Literally in her car,
Stewing.
As soon as they pull around. As soon as they pull around. I mean, I don't mean to make light of it. Obviously, a teacher was attacked.
Yes.
Hopefully this person, the justice is served. We should never feel like we're in danger here. But, man.
And we talked about the fact that teachers are being attacked by students, but let alone a parent?
Parent, yeah. I mean, if you got beef, take it up to the principal or district if you don't feel like you're being listened to, but to resort to violence, man.
Crazy, brother.
I mean, and that's one of those things where you say to yourself, well, we won't have another teacher next year.
No.
That position will be open because if I was the teacher and I get physically attacked, I'm out.
Yes.
I'm just going to go, you know what? It ain't worth it.
Yeah. By a parent.
Yeah. By a parent of all people. Yeah. At an elementary school.
That's crazy.
Elementary.
How serious can the conferences be when it's an elementary?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I guess pretty serious. I mean, we had that one teacher that got shot.
Yeah.
By a first grade student. So you just think about this stuff as high school, middle school level, but to see violence at elementary, wild. Okay, so I do want to do a positive one.
I want that.
We're going to do negative, positive. So positive, Wyndham Southeast. I don't know where that is. Wyndham Southeast School District attempts to turn the tide on substitute teacher shortage. Now, normally I see these and it's laughable. I see that they're combating a substitute teacher shortage and I say, oh, what are they doing? A career fair? Something like that. This one, I got to applaud. Wyndham Southeast Superintendent Mark Spino said that the district meeting, they are really pushing for substitute teachers. Not only are they actively hiring and pursuing, they are putting regular advertisements on the radio. They are having a huge success with that. They are putting substitutes at the top of their list to interview and get through.
Okay.
They also said, this is wild, but they are exploring a bonus program giving subs more to take more jobs. They have developed and distribute a feedback survey so that they know exactly where the adjustments need to be to make the substitute teachers stay. Then they have a new education system to support para-educators through further their education to obtain licensing. So they're helping the paras obtain higher licensing so that they can get paid more.
Okay.
And not only that, they said that they have boosted the pay for the substitute teachers and are exploring boosting it even more.
That's not bad.
It sounds to me like this guy said, look, we got a problem. And instead of, beating around the bush, that's several steps. And he said so far, 75% of the open sub positions have been filled.
75%?
75%.
Okay, well, I mean, hey, 75%. Hey,
yeah, but
man.
the school board complimented him and said, "I appreciate the aggressive stance that you're taking on recruiting these new teachers." And so, I mean, that's huge. But to put out the radio ads to say, "Look, we need this. We gotta do this," and they increased their sub pay. It says to the highest rate in their area.
Wow.
So, I mean, to go, we're going to give you more money. We're reaching out to the community. I mean, to me, that not only helps subs, but it also helps the teachers.
Yes.
I mean, he said that 25% of their substitute teacher postings were unfulfilled the past school year. That's 1 in 4 teachers that doesn't have coverage, that is having to split up that room or just come in or, give up their time. And now you're filling those positions and saying, we support you. We know you need these substitutes in there to continue education. And to me, that's sending a message to the subs and the teachers.
That's
and
right.
I applaud it.
And you actually have done both. You substituted as well.
Yes.
Gotcha. Now, my question would
I
be...
suppressed those memories.
You do? It was a long time ago, James. It was a war, if you will. But
I started my day every day off with, let's get some. Get you some.
Get you some. Now, as a substitute, how do they fill that? No, that's not what I want to ask. How do they determine how many subs they need?
There's 2 ways to put in a substitute absence. You can do a prearranged. In the future, this is how many
I'm going to need.
Yeah, I'm going to need this, and then they know. And then they also have day of. And so most schools in big areas have a substitute that's already there, and they can fill if somebody says, Mr. Jan's out. Okay, well, let's put our substitute in there. But unfortunately, sometimes you get massive illness. And then it becomes...
That's my question.
Then you got to fill it quickly. And so we used Kelly Substitute Services for a long time.
Okay.
And it was a program that I would click, I'm not going to be there.
Got it.
Immediately it would send an email notification to all the subs and go, hey, this teacher's out. Would you like to take this position? First one to grab it, grabs it.
Okay.
But in order to stay in that system to where you can consistently get work, you have to take like a 1 sub job a week at least.
Gotcha. To stay active.
To stay active, yeah.
Okay.
So this one hits home. Central Florida Fairgrounds. I'm bringing this up. It's a tragic story, but I wanted to bring it up because of the ending. The Central Florida Fairgrounds is upping security after a shooting of a Lake County teacher's aide. So there was a teacher's aide that was shot and killed outside of the fairgrounds. And unfortunately, it was just outside of the fairgrounds, outside of all the surveillance. Now, this was a beloved professional or teacher's aide, a teacher's aide at Sorrento Elementary School, and has been working for the district for the past 5 years. I read these stories and it's very sad. I don't like bringing up, sometimes when teachers are like murdered or something bad happens to them. But the reason I'm bringing it up is it was outside the fairgrounds and they don't have any leads. And they don't have video of it. And they have all the video inside the fairgrounds, but they still haven't caught this particular person. So if you were in the Central Florida area or you hear anybody talking about it, I just want to bring awareness to it that there was a teacher's aide that was killed at the fair. And hopefully, this never happens again. You obviously want better security than that. I think in the parking lots especially, they should have ramped it up. They are going to try to hopefully find this person, and there is a cash reward of $5,000.
Okay.
So if you know anything, saw anything, hear anything, let the Orlando police know.
Any details at all?
No,
Anything?
unfortunately.
Nothing, no.
It says meantime, they said that the Orlando PD is just waiting by the crime line, hoping that something gets said, but it was a shooting. We don't know if it was targeted or intentional. Sounds to me, what I read about it, it sounds to me like maybe a robbery gone wrong, something like that. But, a lot of people, unfortunately, get out a lot of cash to go to fairs, and people wait in the parking lots for you. Because I know my kids went to the Strawberry Festival.
Just happened.
And Kate took out $200 cash, to go to the Strawberry Festival because you're at the fair and using your card in a bunch of different suspect,
just anywhere where you're going to be using your card repeatedly.
Yeah. So you got to bring cash. So, be vigilant. There's a lot of vigilant. Vigilant's not a word.
No, it's not. Education. Get you some.
You mean ditch you some?
Yeah.
But be vigilant because there's people there that are trying to prey on you. A lot of fairs out there happening right now. All right, this next one, an unfortunate tale. It's happened in Australia in Cranbrook. I've never heard of Cranbrook, but apparently Cranbrook is this like prestigious school.
Okay.
of one of Australia's most prestigious school, and they say it has a toxic boys club culture. And apparently it's being outed, and there is a massive resistance being pushed back against it, because apparently this school has produced billionaires, top people, of power and influence. So I started reading it, and it was absolutely shocking. But apparently there was a teacher that was blackmailed at the school by a student. The student said that they needed to have pictures of this teacher in provocative poses, or they would go to the police and falsely accuse them of touching them.
Okay, first off, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Could we dissect this just for a moment?
Sure.
If you would. There is, I guess, and I'm gonna guess here. I've never been put in this position as a teacher, but I can imagine one of your fears or something you'd be concerned with is being accused of doing something inappropriate with a student.
Oh, yeah.
Is that safe to say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as a teacher, just giving you my personal experience briefly.
Yeah.
If there was a female student that wanted to meet with me after school for grades, something like that, door open and permanently open, go next door. Hey, I'm going to be meeting with such and such right now, and we're going to be talking about grades, just letting you know. And then I would go in the room, and if I could have somebody there, I would. Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, anytime, I mean, hypervigilance of, could this be misconstrued?
True, it is something else.
Yep.
Because, again, I don't know. I'm just putting myself in the teacher's shoes. If you were just accused as a teacher of doing something wrong by a student,
Career over,
and you're going to be assumed by parents, by students, by other teachers that you did something wrong.
Yep.
Before you even get a chance to say your side.
Yeah.
So I can imagine the position that teacher was put in at that moment. It must be terrifying.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, do this terrible thing or be accused of this terrible thing.
Yeah, what do I do?
Yeah, and the boy was eventually suspended and chose to leave the school and wrote an apology letter that he was devastated by his actions. I have caused so much hurt, and I'm disappointed. Disappointment to you, my teachers, and school-wide community and friends. By the way, I've never seen an apology letter that is more blatantly PR.
Yeah. He had his publicist write that.
What this did, the actions behind this, is it caused a ripple. Apparently, the female teacher said, look, I reported this. It was not taken seriously. Not only that, but we are apparently in a school, this Cranbrook school is endorsing like catcalling, mistreatment of female teachers, that apparently she said that it's just, it really is a toxic culture. It says that when she told the people about the extortion attempt, apparently she was told to take her concerns to the headmaster, and they had to have a meeting in a cafe and talk about it. And apparently
what? Not his office, but a cafe.
And apparently the deputy allegedly suggested that it was no surprise she received attention from the boys, given that she was such a good-looking woman.
Oh,
so you're literally being harassed by the deputy you're attempting to report the harassment to. So it's kind of opened this can of worms. Now, here's the thing. I was reading all about this, and there's massive alumni. It says the alumni here is a tech billionaire, 2 generations of the Packer family, gaming dynasty, industrial business high flyers, politicians, academics. Now, get this. During the investigation of the story, the ABC team, the journalist, had 7 legal threats made on publishing this story about the school from various different organizations. They're obviously trying to protect the image of the school much harder than they are protecting the teachers that work there. And that is just
disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's disgusting.
But so hopefully something's done. But
have more people started to come forward?
Yeah, other female teachers have come forward and said that the toxic culture there is not a good environment. I mean, you got a bunch of young boys that are apparently not being served consequences for disgusting behavior that unfortunately they're bringing into from the outside, and it's being, cradled on the inside, and it's just not appropriate, But you feel bad for the teachers. You feel, why would you ever want to teach there? Subject yourself to it, and it's a prestigious school. That's the other part, is these teachers are getting dream jobs,
Yes,
and then getting there, and it's turning into a nightmare.
That's awful, by the way.
Yep. So here's the thing. I got one more. This is a positive.
Okay,
But a negative, but turned into a positive.
Okay.
Yeah, so had to combine them on the last one.
There you go.
Some teachers and students stay home after a student threatened a teacher at a middle school. This is what I like to see when it comes to action being taken. Apparently, there was a student that threatened a staff member, and the teachers apparently said, you know what? We're not okay with this.
Okay.
We're not okay with how this is being handled. And they decided that after the threat assessment was there, and the school resource officer who regularly attends the campus said that there was going to be a supervision, they said they just didn't feel safe, and they opted as a whole to stay home and just kind of say, look, we're not coming in till we feel safe. And I like that. I think that you should.
Applaud it.
Yeah, I think you should get together and go, you know what? One teacher may have been threatened, but when you threaten one, you're saying that, we're all in danger.
That's right.
And we're staying home. And students stayed home in this as well. And I really hope that they address the security concerns there, and they address the safety of everybody. But what we need to start doing as teachers is unifying.
Yeah.
When one teacher is mistreated, say, okay, fine. Tomorrow, you won't see the rest of us. We're suddenly feeling ill, and send a message to the admin, send a message to the district and go, look, I got sick days, and my sick days can be used for justice, as I see fit,
And let's be honest, if I'm working in anywhere, whether it be a school, whether it be a restaurant, whether it be a bank, I don't feel safe, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it needs to be that simple.
Especially a school.
A school,
I mean, because the teachers, too, aren't just looking out for themselves. They're trying to look out for the kids,
That's
too.
right.
It's like, look, my safety is one thing, but I got a bunch of children around me,
Yeah.
If I'm not safe,
they're not safe.
Yeah.
And that's one way to get the parents behind you as well. Look,
I hope so.
Yeah.
You often wonder sometimes. It's so wild because you would think that it would be cut and dry, that you go, hey, safety is an issue, we're staying home. But unfortunately, today's day and age, sometimes the parents are like, well, get back. My kid, I don't have daycare, option. It's such a weird thing that we still push back.
But you won't need daycare if something bad happens to your child.
Right. That's so unfortunate.
Got to think about it that way.
Yeah. Now, last thing I want to talk about today's podcast, James.
Talk to me, buddy.
We've been criticized.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Has my wife been writing it again? Sorry.
No.
Okay.
But yes. So, no, I get it. I got a message, and it was eye-opening. Okay. So we've often talked about on this podcast people that want to leave, teachers that want to leave, teachers finding a way out, teachers quitting, this and that. There is a group of teachers, and it's a significant amount of them, that love it, that want to stay. But they are finding that there's a lot of negativity around them. A lot of people are leaving, and they feel like this is their pride and joy, and other people are abandoning their ship,
Understood.
And it's leaving them with more tasks and stuff like that. We were being criticized of not really talking about the teachers that want to stay. And I get that. There's a general consensus around teaching that it's like, oh man, are you getting out? Are you trying to get out? Or is it bad yet for you?
Yeah.
And we're not really talking about you're doing great. You're having a good time. We appreciate you. It's kind of a weird thing where every positive is sometimes washed out by the negatives. And I do feel that. And I felt that when I read that, because there were times where I absolutely loved teaching and I wanted to stay. And then I saw things happening around me and I was like,
this is not good.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I think it always came from a good place. And I'll say this about you, Devin. When you talk about what teachers are going through, you wanted to give a voice to people who feel like they don't have an outlet or a voice.
Right.
And that's why you're highlighting those things. And I think this teacher sees that and say, well, what about some of the great things that are happening?
Yeah. Okay. And I want to give a shout out to a guy we both know, and he's been on the Board Teachers Comedy Tour, but Mike Rivera.
Mike Rivera, of course.
Mike Rivera is currently still teaching.
Yes, he is.
He teaches middle school. He has taught for a long time.
Yes, he has.
Mike Rivera was also named America's Funniest Teacher by The View.
Yes, right.
Had a huge pop on national TV.
Yes.
And normally a lot of people would go, "Are you going to quit?" And
did
he didn't.
not.
And he also got brought onto the Board Teachers Comedy Tour, and he was offered a bunch of dates, a bunch of opportunities. And even now, he still is getting offered. So Mike got offered a chance to speak at a school
Yes.
for a decent sum of money and turned it down and said, I have to be in class that day.
That's right.
There are those amazing teachers that teaching comes first.
Yes.
And I got to send a shout out to those teachers. I mean, it is a calling
That
by
is.
a lot of people. And I know that we sometimes go, well, you don't have to call it a calling. Some people, it is ingrained in them.
It's who they are.
There are generations of teachers within them, and they love it. They wake up in the morning going, I can't wait to get to school.
Yeah.
And they leave class going, I can't wait till tomorrow. And those are special teachers. They're amazing. They're what we need in the classroom. And I
Yeah.
feel like there needs to be some appreciation for them out there, some
Absolutely.
acknowledgement that there are amazing teachers that are staying and
Gotcha.
that love it.
And I think we both have, and I've told numerous stories about the teachers in my children's life that without them, they would not be where they are now, successful.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to shout out you great teachers who love what you do and you feel like you're not appreciated. You are.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah.
We really do.
Yeah, it is interesting though, because I can usually tell. People, a lot of teachers come up, and I've become very good at sensing things right away.
Okay.
Like this one girl, she came up and she goes, "Hey, oh, hey," and I go, "Do you teach?" She goes, "Yeah, sure do." I said, "First year?" She goes, "Second," and I go, could have guessed.
Yeah,
I still see the optimism in your eyes.
Yeah.
But then there are some teachers that come up and they are defeated, and they are like, "Oh, I really needed that because." Yeah,
But you just gave
hang
them
out for just a little longer.
But when they go to I've had the honor of being on the red carpet and interviewing teachers as they come to see the Board Teachers show, and there are those who've been doing it a long time who say to me, "I really needed that."
Yeah.
I love teaching, but it can be hard. It can be challenging. But I needed a good laugh to re-energize myself and go back in there with the right attitude.
Yep.
So you guys are doing a service for them, and it's not all negative. We know that you guys enjoy it because let's be honest, you're not doing it for the financial gain.
No,
Not at all. No,
Yeah.
no.
To me, teaching is kind of like being a Cowboys fan.
Oh,
It was really good in the 90s.
we had a great run.
And every year you go in it with optimism.
It's true.
But you're like, we probably won't make the playoffs. But it's funny because you see that too. There's teachers that come up and there's teachers that have pencil earrings and they do cricket shirts of "I love my class," and they're in their cardigan pullovers with the apple. And I mean, it is the definitive. That is a teacher.
Yes.
And you can see that there is nothing in this world you could throw at them. Money, opportunities, anything else that would get them out of the classroom. And that's like Mike, man.
Yes.
Mike is just teacher.
Yeah.
That's what he loves.
Through and through, all day. He does not turn that off.
I mean, it's wild to me because we'll get in the van and he'll instantly go, "My students are already messaging me." And I'm like, "That you're loved, bro.
He is.
You're loved."
And I love how he refers to his students, my kids.
Yeah.
My kids are already doing this. My kids. Like whenever we have a conversation about what he does, it's my kids.
Yeah.
And he's talking about those kids in his classroom.
Yeah, he didn't teach in my school though, because if I was gone for one day, I'd be like, "The police are already messaging me." Got the parole officer. Hold on. Yeah, he's in class.
Yeah, there you go. So shout out to that person who did.
Yeah.
We're not going to call it a complaint, but they were pointing something out.
Yeah, sometimes we get a little overly negative,
Yeah.
and sometimes we ignore the people that love it. That's
Yes.
them.
Yes.
and we don't appreciate you enough. So we're here to say we love you, we appreciate you, and that person, by the way, I'm almost positive I did, but if I didn't, message me back, and I'll get you tickets to a comedy show. Come
Look
out
at that!
and laugh.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm positive.
I'm 99% positive.
Yes.
I responded with "You're right," and I would love to discuss this in person because I definitely responded to it. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's absolutely
Nice.
okay. James, how can people find you?
As always, you guys can find me on Facebook and Instagram under the same account, James Yon, comedian, YON. And thank you. I've been getting more and more teachers following me. I'm going to try to do right by you. I'm going to try to start doing some stuff that's positive so we can definitely highlight all the great teachers out there.
Yep, and devincomedy.com for upcoming tour dates. Also, I have a new speaker website, teachersneedlaughter.com. Teachersneedlaughter.com for speaking.
Yes.
It has all my stuff on there. And don't forget also my charity, teacherspetcare.com. If you want to donate and support the charity, if you need any assistance, the donations are going up. We're just about ready to start some big initiatives. And if you got ideas, message me. I'd love to hear them. So
Gotcha.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to Crying in My Car. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Thank you. There might be a clip up there. There might be a clip down there. If it's got our face, if it's other people's stuff, come back. Don't click on that. But us suggested things. That's us crying in my car. Devin Siebold, James Yon, bored teachers. Watch. New trailer for Indiana Jones. No, don't do that. Don't do that.